Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning, bro. Welcome back to another edition of I Could Be Wrong, week three of the 2025 NFL season. Good to see you. Hopefully, you had a great week.
You too, man.
Yeah, it was a busy week, I can tell you that, and I'm glad that I worked 4 10s and I have Monday off so I can have an extra day to recover before I go back. So, yeah, I don't do any laborious work, but my brain is fried after this week. I will say that.
That's funny.
Yeah. So, all right. So we'll go ahead and try again. For those of you that do watch, we had a mishap. We started, and then the internet connection dropped. So we're starting over. Not that you needed to know that, but I'm telling you because what the hell? Either way, what we both said was Buffalo looked good. Miami looked a little better, but still not as good as Buffalo. Buffalo's probably going to be playing late January into February. Miami's probably going to be looking for a new head coach at the end of the season. Is
Yep.
basically what we summed up in our little recap of the Thursday night game. So we
Probably new
are
coach
going
and
to move
quarterback.
on. Probably, I would say they probably need a new quarterback more than they need a new coach. But they're probably going to end up with both at the end of the
Yep.
season. I agree with you. So, with that being said, we are going to jump into the meat and potatoes of our pod broadcast, whatever you want to call it, this weekend, and we are going to start off with some fantasy topics. Justin is our resident fantasy guru, even though this week he is going to lose in the family league because I'm going to have at least one person. I need one person just to blow up so I can win and give Justin that L. But in the meantime, we're going to take some of his advice because we want to know who's going to boom and who's going to bust. So give us a couple boomers and a couple of busters for week three in fantasy football.
Yeah. So week three boomer, I'm telling you to go with Mr. Tet McMillan. I love Tet. Honestly, he's been consistent. They're force feeding him the ball, and I'm just thinking that this is his breakout game. I think that
Okay.
they come out firing. You know, they want to get a win. They almost came back against the Cardinals um, last week. So, you know, Ted McMillan, man, the dude is just primed
Okay.
for a massive game. I mean, he's had some big games already, but I'm telling you, he's due for one of those two touchdown games from one of those young receivers. You know, they all have it like the Jamar Chases, the Justin Jeffersons, and
Yeah.
yeah. So give me some Ted McMillan,
Okay.
man. No specific reason other than just I'm on that hype train.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
on
All
I'm
right.
on
I
the
like
Ted
it.
McMillan hype train, and yeah.
Yeah, he made a couple plays last week against the Cardinals. Said they almost came back in that game. Arizona did everything they could to give it away. And luckily for them, they didn't. But yeah, I think Carolina is one of those teams that somebody's got to break out, and why not? Their young star receiver. So, all right, I like that one. Give us one more boomer.
It's a division game, so you know those guys.
They always
They
play
they
tough.
they
So,
always play tough. So we'll see. You
but
want
my
another
only,
boom?
my only, yeah, really quick though. My only hesitation would be Atlanta's pass rush looked really, really good Monday night. So if they bring that same pass rush, might be difficult for Bryce Young to get the ball out to Tet. But if he does have some time, I would anticipate Tet just continues to grow, get more targets, and continue to produce more and more. So I like that one. And yes, we would like one more boomer. Give us another boomer.
All right, this is the one right here. Jaden Daniels out, Marcus Mariota in, and I'm going with Debo Samuel.
Okay,
I
okay,
think he's just going to be dink and dunk, hit him, get him out of the backfield a few times. He
okay.
He's already reminded me of how they used him in San Francisco. They've used him out of the backfield. They get him on the drag routes. It's all run after catch with Debo, and I think they play it safe. I think that's the safe route.
Yeah,
And Marcus Mariota. There could be two boomers in this game actually because of it. Mariota and Debo, because Mariota can use his legs as well. And when he filled in for Jaden Daniels last year in a couple games, he played pretty well.
yeah. I'm a little surprising on that one, but I could see it. I definitely think that with Jaden Daniels out, I could see Debo being a big focal point of the game plan because of his Swiss Army like Swiss Army knife like skills. Like you said, coming out of the backfield, obviously they can hit him on them short passes. We've both seen Debo break a 4 yard route into a 60-yard touchdown multiple times. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that. And I also agree with you that Mariota could be a sneaky boomer as well because of his legs, right? Um, so yeah, and the Raiders, their defense is, they're not one of those defenses that puts fear in you. So I think that he could probably find some open guys out there. Scary Terry's probably going to have some opportunities as well. So I like both of those. I like Mariota and Debo. All right, I like it. And for Jason and David, if you do watch, boo Raiders.
Yeah.
Still waiting for Ashton Genty to show up.
Yeah.
He's
Looking like Trent Richardson.
Anybody getting those Jay Ajayi vibes? That's all I'm saying. Oh, did Jay Ajayi go to the same school, play against those same crappy defenses in college, and then got to the NFL and got exposed? Oh, okay. I was just saying. Anyways, let's move right along. Give us a couple of busters, a couple of guys that probably won't live up to expectations this weekend.
Yeah, so this one's probably going to surprise a lot of people, and it's actually in the same game for the same reason.
Okay.
I'm going to go with two busters, Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson,
Oh,
both on backup quarterbacks. Um, let's start with Chase. So Chase, historically with Browning, has not had great overall success. He did have some success against Minnesota,
yeah.
ironically, in a game against them with Browning, but I don't think that's going to be the same this year because the run game, in my opinion, is worse. Um, and then on the flip side of that, you got Justin Jefferson, who was already struggling to have a little chemistry with the starting quarterback McCarthy. Now you bring in, I don't even know who their backup.
Carson Wentz.
Oh yeah, Carson Wentz, and yeah, I just to me, and if you make the case of who could actually have a better game, I'm going to go with Justin Jefferson. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think they're by standards, by fantasy football manager standards, these guys are going to bust.
Yeah, I could see it. And like you said, those are two names that you don't associate with bust when you think about fantasy
Yeah.
football, even when they have a backup in. But I could see it. I think Minnesota's defense is obviously going to give them some fits for Browning in Cincinnati. Um, he threw 3 interceptions last week. They still figured out a way to win the game somehow, but he threw the ball to the other team quite a bit. So I think that's going to limit Jamar Chase's opportunities if he does that against
Yeah.
Minnesota. And I also agree with you that if there is one of these guys that's not going to bust per se, probably going to be JJ. And the only reason I say that is even though Carson Wentz is not what he was when he was younger in his career, he does still have the ability. He's got the experience. He knows, what he's looking at for the most part with a defense, when they line up and things. So I think that gives him a little bit of an advantage.
Yep.
So I could see JJ, having a decent game, but I wouldn't expect him to jump off the page or anything like that. But yeah, I think both of these could definitely be bust. And for those of you that picked either one of these guys really high in the draft, which probably everybody did, you're probably right now hoping that Justin's wrong, but I don't think he's going to be. I think that we're going to see some guys. Here's what happens usually when the backups come in, right? They try to get it to the stars, right? But they don't have the same chemistry with those stars that they have with the second and third string guys because they're playing scout team with them. They know they know what a five out a yard out and how long it takes with those guys. They have a little more timing. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a couple of lower guys on the depth chart actually be the ones
Having
to
better
have big
games.
games. Yeah, just because of the
Exactly.
chemistry that the backups have with them. So
I agree.
uh, so yeah, that should be a fun game, honestly. I know it's two backup quarterbacks, but I think it's gonna be a fun game. I think it might be a lot of scoring, maybe. But then on the flip side, I love a good defensive game every now and then too. So maybe it's just a bunch of quarterbacks getting smacked around. Who knows?
Right.
All right. So those are your fantasy boomers and busters for week 3. If you are playing fantasy, good luck to you, unless you're playing against me, and then I hope you lose, Justin.
Hey man.
Uh, all right. let's move along and let's preview a couple of big games on the schedule this week. I think there's two that really stand out. I wanted to touch on those. First one we'll start with is an early game tomorrow. It is the Rams visiting the Philadelphia Eagles. Both teams are 2-0. Obviously, Philadelphia beat the Rams in the playoffs last year. In fact, out of their last 11 games, the only two games that LA has lost has been against the Philadelphia Eagles. They are 9-0 against everyone else, including our 49ers, who blew a fourth quarter lead against them late in the year last year. So I'll start with this one. I'll kind of give you some of the things I'm looking forward to. What I'm going to be watching for. I'm going to be watching for the Rams' run game against the Eagles' run defense. I think that Kyron Williams has an opportunity to have a big day. I know Philadelphia's defense is one of those ones that people associate with being at the top of the food chain. But if you really look at the way they've played so far this year, not really. They're middle of the pack. I know the first game they were missing Jalen Carter because he made a bonehead move and got ejected from the game. But when you sit and look at how they played against Kansas City was missing all of their receivers and they still were in the game. If it wasn't for a ball that bounces off Travis Kelce's hands, maybe we're having a different conversation. So I personally think that this is going to be a great measuring stick for both teams. I anticipate Kyron Williams having a good day. Obviously, Puka's going to do what Puka does. And on the flip side, I want to see, can the Eagles passing game get off the ground? I don't think they're going to be able to win this game just running the ball and without Jalen Hurts putting the ball in the air and get some passing touchdowns. I think
Yeah.
this is gonna be, like I said, a measuring stick for both sides. And I'm really looking forward to just the intensity. Do both teams come out like it's almost a playoff game, or are they both playing it like it is week 3 in September and it's whoever wins wins. So I think this is a bigger game for the Rams than the Eagles, but I could be wrong. So what do you anticipate? What are you looking for out of this game?
I think it's a bigger game for the Eagles and their
Think
fan
so?
base. Yeah, because they're 2-0, right? But I think you have to be a little bit concerned, maybe just a little bit concerned with the fact that after 2 games, your leading receiver, Devontae Smith, has 69 total yards.
Yeah,
That's bad. That's real bad. Because on the flip side of that, Puka Nakua has 221 receiving yards on the season
221.
as the Rams' leading receiver.
Yeah.
So I, that's what I'm looking for. That's just the one thing I'm looking for in this game because I think it will
Okay.
be a competitive game. But you hit it right on the head when you said that the Eagles are not going to win this game on just the heels of their run game.
No.
They have to get their receivers involved in this game because Rams can score,
Yeah.
just just like the Eagles.
Yeah.
And I honestly think that the Rams might be the Eagles' toughest competition so far this season. Might be the
Oh
best
yeah.
team they've faced. So yeah, their receivers have to have a good game. The passing game has to get off the ground. They have to have a 100-yard receiver in this game,
Yep.
or they're going to lose.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. So there have been 33 quarterbacks started game this season because the 49ers started two. They had Brock and then Mac Jones started last week. 32 of those quarterbacks have thrown a touchdown pass this year, and the only one that hasn't is Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, that's outrageous.
Uh, so and I know they're obviously they've won both games on the strength of their run game. Defense has made some plays, controversial tush push. Um, which
Everyone wants to talk about this tush push, man, but they need to get their passing game going. Forget who
no, I
cares
know.
about this
Well,
stupid tush push.
I think that the Eagles are going to carry this week because I really think that the officials are going to be looking for false starts and making sure they're lined up properly because
Yeah,
of how much attention it got last week. I think the referees are going to be eagle-eyeing that play more than any other play this week. So
this is true.
I think the Eagles are going to have to find, not that they rely solely on the tush push, and I don't want to anticipate or imply that they won the Super Bowl because of the tush push. They didn't. They had a great season, stacked roster, all that good stuff. But I think they do rely on it a lot in those short yardage situations, and that's what extends drives. And I think if there's a couple of those that get called back because of a false start or something, and it changes the dynamic of how they can use it, then you've got to start throwing the ball a lot more, like we're talking about, and you can't rely solely on just turn around, hand it off to Saquon or Jalen Hurts rolling out and scrambling for a few yards because you're going to be in 4th and 5, 4th and 6, as opposed to 4th and 1 if you get one of
Yeah.
those penalties called on you. So it's going to be interesting to see. I'm excited. I'm glad it's an early game. That way it's not on at the same time as the 49ers and Cardinals because I do want to watch. I want to give that one a lot of attention. Because again, I think it's as big of a game as you can have probably early in the season with two teams that we both probably anticipate are going to be there in the end, fighting for the NFC Championship, if not the Super Bowl. So I'm looking forward to it.
Well,
That's
let me
for
ask you this though. Here's
yeah.
what I'm curious what your thought is though.
Uh-huh.
Is it more of a coordinator issue or a player issue? Like a player chemistry issue or
With
chemistry with
Philly,
the coordinator? Yeah, with Philly.
that's tough. I think honestly, I think it's a chemistry issue, to be honest with you, from the outside looking in, because I don't see that their offense is much different, right? I mean, it's a little different, but I don't see much of a difference between their offense from, last year and previous years and this year. But what I do see is the same things that we saw early last year with AJ Brown not being happy, right? And not that he's expressed it so much visibly, but you can tell if you only got a couple of catches after 2 games and you're that guy, like AJ Brown is that guy, there's no way you can be happy,
Yeah,
right? And I think he's smart enough though to understand that if he makes a big deal, it's just going to make it a bigger deal. And then just like it was last year, right?
just like last year. Yeah,
Everybody was talking at their past game. Then they came out and they had that one game where I think Jalen Hurts threw for almost 400 yards, whatever it was. And they were like, how's our passing game now? Well, that was forced, right? You guys went out there because of the outside noise and everyone talking about, well, what's up with the passing game? And if they get to
right.
that point again, I think it just boils down to chemistry, in my opinion. I don't think that those dudes like each other as much as they try and say they do, which is okay
Yeah,
because
right.
you don't have to like everybody you work with. And obviously, whether they like each other or not, it was successful. They won the Super Bowl last year. They're 2-0 this year. So, but in my opinion, and I could be wrong, but I think it's more
Wins
of
is all that
between.
matters.
Yep, I think it's more of the chemistry
All
between
right.
the players than it is the game planning, in my opinion. But
All
yeah.
right. Well, I
Mhm.
hadn't formed an opinion. I just wanted to ask you.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
But
that's what I think.
I agree with you
And
though.
maybe it's Big Dom. Maybe it's because maybe he's further away from the
Yeah,
sidelines and he can't hug
that's
everybody
funny.
and keep them happy. I don't know. But yeah, yeah. I think it's going to be interesting if the season continues the way it is and their passing game struggles the way it does. I think the noise gets even louder than it did last year, um, and the pressure gets ratcheted up. So we'll
Yeah.
see though. Either way, I'm expecting can't believe I'm going to say this, but doing it for 2 reasons. Number one, because Philly fans suck. So I'm picking the Rams, at least to cover the spread, because the Rams are a 3.5 point underdog. So I'm going to at least pick them to cover the spread. I think they're going to win the game straight up, because it means more to them, in my opinion. I know you said you feel like it means more to Philly, but to me, it means more to the Rams because they got to be able to tell themselves mentally, all right, we got over this hump. If we see these guys again in the playoffs, we got them. And
Right.
the other thing is, I want the Rams to be undefeated and the 49ers to be undefeated when they play in week 5. So that way we get a real good showdown later in a couple weeks from now. So, but I'm going to go with the Rams to win that one. I'm going to go with 23-20 final score. That's,
Yeah, I'm gonna pick the
that's
Rams too.
my guess.
Well, I'm gonna go 27-25.
Ooh, okay. All right. All right. I'm going to go put a bet on that. That's probably got about, I would say, 2,500 to 1 odds.
Okay.
Yeah, you can bet on the final score, the exact score.
Oh
Sometimes
yeah.
those pay a lot more because you like bet on one of those scorigamis, a score that's never happened, and the
Yeah.
odds are like way out there. So
That's crazy.
I've almost hit a couple, but my luck is I always get like 1 point off. You know how it goes. All right, let's
Exactly
talk
how
about
betting goes.
yeah, that's how all betting goes. That's for sure. Let's talk about one other big game on the schedule. This is going to be the game that wraps up the week, and that is the Monday night battle between the 1-1 Lions and the 1-1 Ravens. They'll be playing in Baltimore. Lions had a huge bounce back against the Bears last week after losing to Green Bay in week one. And then the Ravens, they came away with the win, but it wasn't pretty. It wasn't. I don't think it was the game that most of us anticipated when we looked at the schedule and said, "Oh, Baltimore's playing Cleveland." I know it's a
Right.
division game, but I expected Baltimore to come out and handle business, and they struggled for most of the day, especially down in the red zone. They struggled to get into the end zone. Ended up coming away with the win, but again, they did not look. They're kind of like the Eagles. They didn't look like we expect them to look against a far inferior team, a team that is not on their level by any means. So, what are some of your thoughts, and what do you expect to see in this Monday night game between these two teams that both hope to be in the mix down the stretch?
Well, I think that the Ravens are going to bounce back and they're going to have a good game, a good quality win. So I'm not worried about the Lions much against the Ravens, to be honest with you. I think the Ravens just had the Bears numbers for they're going against their old coordinator. They know the ins and outs of what he's doing. And that's really how I feel about it. I don't think it was like they did anything truly spectacular. Yeah, I got a
Yeah,
lot of points, but when you know what the other team's going to run, it kind of makes it pretty easy, and that's how I feel
yeah,
about it. But I think the Ravens they're gonna bounce back. They've shown that they already have an explosive offense. I mean, Derrick Henry. They always struggle against the Browns too for some reason. It's
yeah.
never easy
Saw it.
against the Browns. So I don't think it was like, oh, the Ravens are regressing or we got to worry about them. I just think they always, for whatever reason, struggle a little bit against the Browns, as far as I can remember too. And it's just one of those games. So I think the Ravens are going to win. I expect Derrick Henry to have a really good game. Uh, Zay Flowers probably have a good game, and yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna go. If I had to call a score on this game, a little bit more higher than the previous game we talked about, I'll say 32-28. So
Okay.
random, give you a random number there.
All right.
32-28 Ravens.
I like it. I like it. Yeah, I'm gonna pick the Ravens as well. Mainly because they are playing at home. I trust their run game. I like obviously Derrick Henry's at 192 yards on the year, a couple of touchdowns already. So he's still just doing Derrick Henry like things. It seems like
Derrick
the
Henry
older he
things.
gets, the better he gets.
Yeah,
So I think Detroit, like you said, I think that a couple of things worked in their favor. They were going against their old coordinator, so they probably had a good idea of the scheme, obviously, play calling, things like that. I think there were a couple of momentum shifts in that game. One was caused by the referees right at the end of the first half. There was a controversial play where forgot the receiver for Detroit, but he caught the ball on the sideline. He went down. He was down inbounds. It was down by contact inbounds, but it was close to the sideline. So as he went down, then he kind of rolled out of bounds, and the referee mistakenly stopped the clock because he thought he went out of bounds.
yeah.
But the time clock operator, he didn't stop the clock. He kept it running because he saw that the guy was still in bounds. Detroit lines up, they spiked the ball, and time had ran out. But they said because the referee stopped the clock, they put more time back on the clock. Very next play, Detroit scores a touchdown. They go up by 14 to go into the half instead of 7, where the Bears were going to come out and get the ball in the second half with a chance to tie. I think that was a big momentum shift, and
Does shift momentum.
for a young team like Chicago, new head coach, young quarterback, I think it mentally did something to them as well. Like, damn, we were about to come back out with a chance to tie, and now we're down 2 scores. And then from there, the avalanche just happened. They came out, didn't do anything their first drive. Detroit went right down the field and scored, and it was over after that. So,
Right.
um, but yeah, I think Jared Goff has looked really good. Obviously, he had a huge game last week. Makes his numbers a little inflated. But I think he's pretty solid. Only interception so far, which is the main thing you want from your quarterback. Don't turn the ball over. Um, Gonna be a little tougher against Baltimore, but I think they'll find some passing lanes. Buffalo was able to move the ball on them pretty steadily in week one. Obviously, they missed out on a couple of red zone opportunities, but they moved the ball pretty well against them. So I think Detroit will do the same thing. In the end, I think it just comes down to who has more star power, and I think that's Baltimore. Like you said,
Yep.
Zay Flowers is having a great season, 14
Yeah,
catches,
yes.
218 yards. So he's averaging over 100 yards a game, which is rare for a Baltimore receiver. Lamar is, I believe he has the highest completion percentage in the league. I'd have to double check, but he's up there. Having a great season as a passer. Not having to use his legs as much has helped him out, obviously, and we'll see how that goes later in the season. But yeah, I think just it comes down to star power, and Baltimore has a couple more stars than Detroit. And I'm going to go ahead and go with the
And a
score
better
of,
quarterback.
yeah, I think they have a better quarterback for sure. I'm going to go with the score of 27 to 23. I think the Lions are going to cover the spread. And I think that they are going to hit the under on this one. The total is 53 and a half. I'm going to go with total of 51, but I could be wrong. Who knows? Both teams could score 40.
They could.
Yeah. So
We could get a
uh,
classic shootout here.
we definitely could, and I would be all for it. That's for sure.
I know it.
So, all right. So those are the two big games on the schedule. But there's also some games where they kind of maybe look like foregone conclusions, maybe some mismatches. I'll throw one out there. I want to ask you, give me one or two teams that maybe should be on upset alert this week. I'm going to throw one out there and say I think that the Indianapolis Colts should be on upset alert this week against the
All right.
Tennessee Titans. I
Colts.
think that I do for a couple of reasons. Couple of reasons. I think that Tennessee is they're still a young team and they're going to lose way more games than they win this year. But they've shown improvement from week one to week two. And Indianapolis has played two indoor games. They haven't gone outside yet. They haven't played out in any weather or anything like that. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. And these two teams always play each other tough in the AFC South. They seem to be in tight games every year, both times they meet up. So I'm going to roll with the home team in this one. No particular reason other than I just think that, Daniel Jones' Cinderella story has to end at some point, and what better way for it to end than on the road, out in the elements, if so to speak, in Tennessee.
Yeah.
So I think Colts need to be on upset alert.
I think the Chiefs need to be on upset alert. That's who I think needs
Ooh,
to be on
okay.
upset alert.
All
And
right.
guess what? You got two 0-2 teams, one 0-2 team favored by 6.5 points. I know they're the Chiefs, but come on, man. They're not at full strength even. That's just how much sports books don't believe in the Giants. But
Yeah.
I believe in the Giants, and they have a lot of young talent. And I think that who knows? Even if Russell Wilson struggles a little early in this game, they're going to throw in Jackson Dart, and they're going to
Yeah.
beat the Chiefs.
Think
They're going
so.
to
All
beat the
right.
Chiefs.
Yeah,
That's
I can get behind that. I'm gonna give you a couple. I'm gonna throw a stat out there for you that might make you feel a little better about that prediction. The Chiefs have never beaten the New York Giants on the road. They are 0 and 7.
wow.
0 and 7 against the Giants in New York. So yeah, I can
Make
get
your
behind
bet,
that one.
folks.
I mean, I picked Kansas City to win the game because I mean, if you're just picking straight up, I think that you probably got to feel like the Chiefs are better than the Giants, but I definitely would not be surprised. I think the Giants front four is going to give Kansas City some fits. And unless Kansas City can figure out a way to get their running game going, then I think you might be right. I think they could be in some big trouble. And wouldn't that be something to go on their first 4 game losing streak? They're already on their first 3 game losing streak under
Yeah.
Mahomes. To see it extended to 4 and start 0 and 3, then we're talking about are the Chiefs even going to make the playoffs at that point? So.
Yeah, I think it's a conversation that could be had right now. I mean, historically, obviously, the last 5, 6, 7 seasons, Chiefs have been a great team, but this year, the team this year looks like a shell of those former teams.
Yeah,
And to be honest with you, I don't know why. Like just looking at them, their offense hasn't put up a lot of points per game. It's not very high powered. Their leading rusher is Patrick Mahomes
Patrick
with
Mahomes.
13 carries and 123 yards. Like,
Yeah.
come on. Russell Wilson's got 618 passing yards and 3 touchdowns to 1 interception. And I know people are calling
Mhm.
for his head, but you know, he's got his top receiver at Malik Neighbors, 14 receptions, 238 yards. I mean,
I got to call timeout on that one, just real quick.
sure.
Only for one reason. Russell Wilson has all those yards. I agree. At the same time, Patrick Mahomes has not played against the Cowboys defense. So
Yeah.
come on now. Cowboys defense, they couldn't
When
guard me or you, I don't think.
when did anyone ever use that as an excuse before? Like
Listen,
every, you know,
no, all I'm
I
saying
mean,
is,
hasn't Patrick Mahomes shredded good
listen,
defenses before?
listen, what I'm saying is, if we're basing it off, like, I'm not saying you're basing your thing off stats, but I'm saying if you're going to call out those stats, let's give it a little asterisk that Russell Wilson's stats may be inflated because he
Mm,
just got playing the Dallas Cowboys, who forgot that Malik Neighbors can catch a football and they might want to guard him. So,
yeah, I mean,
no, don't get
we
me
could
wrong.
go that route. Like
No,
I'm
no,
not gonna make that argument. I'm not gonna
well,
asterisk it, but you can
okay. I
because
think Patrick Mahomes could play a lot better. But what I'm saying is,
yeah,
I would not use Russell Wilson and compare him to Russell Wilson's stats. I know they're playing against each other, so that's why you're doing it. But what I'm saying is, Russell Wilson's stats are inflated because he just played probably one of the worst secondaries in football. That's all.
it's just the offense as a whole too. I mean,
Yeah,
even Wandale Robinson like is having a good season. Their running back room, Cam Scatterbo's playing decently.
yeah.
So that's kind of it. Wasn't
Oh, I
just
love
Russell
Cam.
Wilson. I'm just saying like overall as a whole. And yeah, they had the one massive game against the Cowboys where it was going back and forth.
Yeah.
But I mean, the
Boy, what
bottom
a
line
fun
is,
quarter.
I know, right? So yeah,
Yeah.
I think more balance through their
Okay.
offense, and we'll
No.
see.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Kansas City's got they got a lot of work to do, and their offense does look like a shell of itself.
Yeah,
And I also agree that they should be on upset alert because who knows? Maybe their secondary is just as bad as Dallas's. Who knows?
we'll see.
We're gonna find out Sunday night. That's for sure.
I just honestly, I'd love to see them lose. I'm a Chiefs
Yeah.
hater.
Yeah. Okay. I like it. I can't argue with that. I'm gonna throw one more out there, and the only reason I'm throwing this, I like this team a lot. I think that they are going to be one of the top teams in the NFC at the end of the year. But I think with the circumstances, Buccaneers need to be on upset alert for a couple of reasons. Number one, they played a Monday night game, so they're on a short week.
Yeah,
The quarterback got banged up at the end of the game, so who knows how healthy he's going to feel. And the Jets are starting Tyrod Taylor instead of Justin Fields. Based off of last week, Justin Fields' QBR was 1, Tyrod Taylor's QBR was 93. So
quite the difference.
quite the difference. And we've seen this before from Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod Taylor is that guy. He's like Ryan Fitzpatrick. He'll come in and he'll have one or two great games, and it's like, oh wow, where's this guy been? And then he goes back into being a backup. So I'm anticipating that he comes out, plays a great game, takes advantage of his opportunity like he always does. He's always prepared as if he's the starter. So I don't anticipate them. They might even open up the playbook even more with Tyrod Taylor rather than dumb it down. And I just think that again, coming off the short week, Tampa Bay missing 3 offensive linemen, hurt quarterback. This is kind of a perfect storm for them to probably lose a game. Again, I think they're going to be one of the stronger teams, but I think this is one game that they could lose just based off the circumstances and how everything's kind of a perfect storm at this point for them
Yeah,
to fall at home. So, Jets fans, you got some hope.
there is some hope. That's a good call out because I was going to actually mention that game, but I had to go with the Chiefs.
Yeah, I can see why. I think that the Chiefs would probably be a bigger upset if they lost to the Giants than if the
Yeah,
if the Bucks lose to the Jets. So
right.
All right. There you go. Those are some upset alerts that teams should be on the lookout for. And let's go ahead and wrap it up with, of course, our beloved San Francisco 49ers, 2-0 home opener against the 2-0 Arizona Cardinals. We got some maybe good news yesterday that Brock Purdy is questionable for the game rather than just flat out. From what I read, he's going to be a game time decision. I think that both of us are comfortable if he doesn't play. I think Mac Jones showed last week he can handle the offense. He can make some plays. They're not going against a top tier team like the Rams or Green Bay or Philly. So I feel pretty good about no matter who's the quarterback. I think we're going to have a solid game. Shouldn't see too much of a drop off on the offense. But I'll stop there for now. I'm going to open it up to you. What are some of the things you're looking for? What do you anticipate in our week 3 matchup against the Cardinals tomorrow?
Well, I believe last night they did rule out Purdy.
Oh,
Mac
did they?
Jones is
Oh,
listed
okay.
as the starter.
Okay.
Well, that's good to know though, because I think it gives them, some
Excuse me.
extra time to prepare for Mac as the starting QB. And I'm just looking for another clean game from him, honestly. The
Yeah.
Cardinals always play the 49ers really tough. And
Always.
so we can't fall into the trap. We can't fall into that trap. We got to start fast and we have to put our foot on the gas and we can't take it off. The defense has to contain Kyler Murray. They can't let him scramble. From what I understand, that's what they've been game planning throughout the week is how to contain Kyler Murray. And so that's what I'm looking for. It's going to be the defense versus Kyler Murray for me, the 49ers defense versus Kyler Murray and how they handle that. If they contain Kyler, keep him from making big scramble splash plays, I think we'll be all good.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I think that needs to be their focal point, obviously, is containing Mighty Mouse, keeping him in the pocket, not letting him get out and scramble around, because that's when we've seen him do his most damage against the 49ers in particular. Uh, I think that, they got to contain James Conner. I don't think you're going to shut him down, obviously. We saw last week Alvin Kamara had almost 100 yards. He had a pretty good game, and they were still able to overcome that by handling the rest of the Saints offense. So I think if they have a similar game plan, Spencer Rattler's not as athletic as Kyler Murray, but he's got some wheels. So I think they had a game plan for that a little bit last week. Not as much as they
Right.
are going to have to this week. But I think it kind of helped prepare them. The one guy that I want to make sure that they contain is the tight end for, I can't believe I'm saying this because I got him on my fantasy team, but the guy that I think we cannot break loose and we cannot let him break loose and have a big game is McBride
Yep.
for Arizona. And that seems to be I want to say our biggest issue when we play the Cardinals is the tight ends and covering them and shutting them down. They seem to be Kyler Murray's go-to and safety blanket when they play us. So hopefully they can contain him. I'm looking for Fred Warner to be flying all over the place like normal. And this is the game where we got to see something from Michael Williams. This is it. All right. We got a quarterback there where you're going to have to contain. We got to see something, young fella. You got to get out there and just take your ass back to Georgia like you're in the SEC and you're about to go whoop some ass. And we need to see it this Sunday for sure.
Yeah.
On the offensive side, I just want to see again clean football, no turnovers. Very similar to what we did last week. If we can eliminate the strip sack fumble that we had, that would be even better. But overall, I think offense did a great job protecting Mac Jones. Mac Jones made great decisions. Receivers made plays when they needed to. And yeah, I just want to see basically the same thing we saw last week, maybe a little more of CMC, if I'm being honest.
Right.
Let's feed the beast. And I anticipate that the 49ers win this game. I think it's going to be a close game, like all of the 49ers and Cardinals games are.
All of
Uh,
them.
but I think the Niners are favored. It says 1.5 here. It was 2.5 yesterday, so the spread's moved back to Arizona by 1 point. I think the Niners cover that. I'm going to go with a final score of 26-23 49ers.
I'll go 24-21. I think they
Okay.
cover two.
Yeah,
A little bit lower
but
scoring.
gonna be a close game. Gonna be a
Tough,
close
close
game.
game. 49ers get the home win.
I like it. I like it. Ricky Pearsall so far, 8 catches, 4 catches in each game, 164 yards. Had a drop off in yardage last week, but had the same amount of targets, same amount of catches. So I anticipate that to continue. Maybe a few more targets for him this week. Juwan
Right.
Jennings, I'd love to see another game like we saw from him last week with that big touchdown run at our big touchdown reception at the end of the game to basically seal it for us and win the game. So yeah, I'm excited. I kind of wish the game was here so we could go see him, but I'm also
Oh no,
glad it's not because it's still hot outside.
still
And when
hot.
we go see
Yeah.
him, it'll be nice and cool for us. So, but yeah, yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to. Go Niners and Cardinals suck. So, all right. Anything else jumps out to you this week? Anything else on your mind that you're watching for?
Well, I'd like to see some of these 0-2 teams like Houston, if they're really an 0-2 team,
Yeah.
or, if they're going to step up, because I think I was expecting some good things out of Houston. Um, and then team like Carolina, I was expecting Carolina to be a little bit better. We'll see
Yeah,
how they do against Atlanta this week, a division opponent, 0-2.
Yeah,
Jets, like you said.
I think a lot of us, the way the Panthers ended the season, those last couple of games, I
Yeah.
think we anticipated them coming out of the gates a lot stronger than they have. But they seem to be just the same old Panthers that they were all season last year. So hopefully that changes for them because they got a lot of young, talented players. I don't know if it's coaching. I don't know what it is, but Bryce Young, he's 482 yards, so he's 240 yards a game. That's not terrible. The problem is he's got 3 interceptions, 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. So you
And
can't
some
turn the ball
fumbles.
over. Yeah, you can't turn the ball over and expect to win. Ted McMillan, 11 catches, 168 yards after 2 games. So, like you said, I think he's primed to have a big game. He's ready to break out. Hopefully, it is this week because I
Gonna
got
get
him
in
on
the
one of
end
my
zone.
fantasy teams. Let's go, Tet. 2 touchdown, Tet. Let's call it that. Um, you know what game I'm looking forward to, other than the ones we talked about, is the Chargers and Broncos game.
Oh,
Obviously division game. AFC West is surprisingly the Chiefs are the worst team in the AFC West. That's crazy. But I think this is a good game for both teams to kind of again measure themselves against the competition that a lot of people feel like they're going to be going against later in the season when the playoffs come. I personally believe in the Chargers way more than I believe in the Broncos. I'm not a big Sean Payton fan, never have been. And especially after Bounty Gate, I wish Sean Payton loses every game that he ever plays, but that's just me. Um, but yeah, I'm looking forward to that game. I think the Chargers established themselves as the team to beat in the AFC West after they win. And if they do win, they will be 3-0 with 3 division wins to start the season.
isn't that amazing? I think
That's
they're gonna win.
that's a hell of a start.
Denver hasn't looked great. Chargers, I think, are the better team. They have the better quarterback right
Yep.
now, the better head coach, the better defense. So
Yeah,
they should be on upset alert because it's a division game, but I don't think it's as big of an upset
yeah, I
alert
agree.
as some of those other ones earlier, like the Giants and the Chiefs.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think the Chargers, I think they win this one. They establish themselves as being up there with Buffalo and Baltimore, maybe. Um, so I'm looking forward to that one as well. It's on at the same time as the Niners, so I'll probably have a split screen. But I love me some Jim Harbaugh. You know that, man.
Yep.
Every time he wins a game, I'm like, damn, that could be our team. Good old Trent Baalke ruined everything.
That's
You
funny.
know, Trent Baalke and Danny Ainge. If I ever see you two on the street, I'm gonna cut you the fuck out, just like I
Fight.
did, just like I did Danny Ainge at Summer League. Yeah, he knows who I'm talking about. You know I'm talking about Danny Ainge. I know you heard me. I was a drunk guy yelling at you. All right. Well, hey, that's all I got, bro. It was good chatting with you. I love talking football with you. Most of
Yes,
the
sir.
time we agree, but sometimes we don't. I think it's some good conversation, some good games to look forward to. And I'll be more than happy to chat with you on Tuesday or Wednesday this week after we wrap up the week and we get to talk about it again. So, with that being
Awesome. I'll
said,
believe
everybody,
this
oh, go ahead.
one thing. Just maybe, possibly throwing this out there that it could happen. We might have an AI debater soon.
Oh,
Details coming.
that'd be interesting. I would like
Mhm.
that. All right. Well, hey, more to come on that. For those of you that did take the time out of your busy days and lives to watch us talk a bunch of nonsense and act like we know what we're talking about, we certainly appreciate it. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe with your friends and family and even people you don't like, because the more people that watch, the better for us. And on that note, we are out of here. We'll see you next time on I Could Be Wrong. Don't forget, be kind. It is free unless you are talking to Cowboys fans. Peace.
Yep.